Na-Na-Na-Na, Na-Na-Na-Na, Nystagmus in your eyes. I'm Gwyneth.
And I'm Atta.
And we're here to talk to you today about nystagmus. What's nystagmus?
Well, nystagmus is involuntary, shaky, or wobbly movement of the eyes.
Oh.
Okay, all cheesiness aside, we're here to talk to you about something that's actually pretty cool. So, eye movements are, pretty complicated, and they involve about half of the cranial nerves. So, when doing a neurological examination, you can actually tell a lot about somebody's neurological health just by testing their eye movement. Nystagmus involves two central eye movements. One of them, which you're familiar with, are called saccades. Saccades are point-to-point eye movements that are goal-directed and voluntary. A different type of eye movement is called smooth pursuit. And smooth pursuit is what you do with your eyes when you're watching an airplane in the sky. So, how is it possible that you can get smooth pursuit when it's actually something that almost requires your head to move or the object to be moving in a distance? And there's actually some underlying neural pathways that Gwen's going to explain.
So we're starting with the patient's right side. Here we have the midline, and over here we have the left side. On the right side, we have our endolymph-filled semicircular canals, which are part of the vestibulocochlear nerve system. This is cranial nerve 8. When endolymph is disturbed, it will send a message through cranial nerve 8 into the vestibular nucleus in the medulla, which will then send a message through the medial longitudinal fasciculus across the midline,
MLF,
properly known as the MLF, to the abducens nucleus in the pons.
So what does the abducens do, Gwen?
The abducens talks to the lateral rectus. Its only job in life is to direct the lateral movement of your eye.
So what does that look like? Show me a lateral movement of your eye.
If you're looking at this eye,
Yep.
it goes that way.
Oh, that's lateral. Okay, cool.
So then it also sends another message back through another branch of the MLF up to the midbrain, where it synapses in cranial nerve 3 nucleus, the oculomotor nucleus, which talks to the right medial rectus.
Okay.
And the reason for this is so that both eyes will go in the same direction so that they can follow the same objects. All right, so when endolymph is disturbed, you can do that either by disturbing your head movement or by redistributing the weight or the density of the endolymph. And in order to do that, you need physics. Wow, science.
Wow.
So if you have a cold object, it will be denser.
Okay.
And if you have a warm object, it will be less dense.
I get it.
Caloric testing is when we change the density of the endolymph and
we generate nystagmus and in a healthy person, right?
Right. As long as the whole pathway is intact, we'll generate nystagmus.
Right.
If we use cold water, if we make the endolymph cooler and more highly dense, then we will get a saccade movement, the fast movement, in the opposite direction.
Okay.
If we heat it up to make it warm,
okay,
we'll get a saccade in the same direction. You'll notice that Atta's head is at approximately 30-degree angle here. That's important so that you get the semicircular canals to be facing the correct direction. Now I am putting the cold water in his ear. Open your eyes.
Oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, really good. Oh, that's great.
All right, relax.
I'm relaxed.
This won't hurt me a bit. Oh. Do we see any movement of Atta's eyes?
I don't know.
Maybe?
Oh, God.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Oh, that's actually really uncomfortable. I feel like my eyes are jerking. Can you see anything?
No.
Oh, that is so sad. Well, I'm sorry that I couldn't oblige you better, but I definitely feel like I've been violated.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, when would something like that be useful? Obviously, it didn't work in my case, so maybe I really am brain damaged. But seriously, when this test works, it's a good indication of evaluating brain function. So, a couple of different things can happen. Let's say a traumatized patient comes into the emergency room and they're unconscious, and people want to evaluate this person's brain functioning. Well, they would presumably tilt their head up like, my head was tilted, and then put some cold or warm air they're using these days because it's more comfortable than the water. And after they put that in, if they generate, smooth pursuit followed by saccade return, right, as they would expect following our cow's mnemonic, then it's a good indication that that person's brainstem functioning is okay. If there's no saccade, then it indicates that there's something wrong with the vestibulo-ocular reflex, and probably something wrong with the person's brainstem. So it's a good handy-dandy tool. Other things that can cause this are overdoses of certain types of drugs, namely alcohol. Anyhow, we hope that this has been a useful demonstration for you despite the epic fail,
Despite that, we want you to remember that this is the truth. And who are you going to believe? Me or your own eyes?
Thanks, Groucho.